All right, let's bring this meeting to order. Man, that is loud. Please stand for the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you, thank you. All right, first item is the reading approval of the minutes from the July 23rd, 2024 regular council meeting. May I have a motion to approve?
So moved.
Second. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Anyone opposed say no. Very good, thank you very much. Minutes are approved. All right, moving on to the first item on the agenda, the appointment of city representative to the Board of Directors for the New River Gorge Regional Development Authority. So, Mr. Fowle, you put this on the agenda. Do you want to discuss a little bit about this?
Yes, sir. It's my understanding that the mayor was our last appointee to the NRGRDA, and because he is no longer in office, his term would automatically terminate. And so we've been advised that we do need a representative for the Board of Governors, or Board of Directors, and I think the most logical way to go would be for the council to suggest or approve the city manager or the city manager's designee in the event the city manager cannot attend a meeting.
I'm in favor of that.
Okay.
I mean, the mayor's done it over the past years. I think it should fall on the city managers since they're going to be handling day-to-day operations, and that's who, in my opinion, needs to have the working relationship with NRG or DA. So I would agree with that.
Anybody on council have a different opinion on that, or?
I agree.
I agree.
Everybody agrees?
I'll make a motion for that.
Have a second?
Hold on a second, if you don't mind. So until then, do we appoint somebody else until we get the new person?
Well, soon it'd be the interim city manager, would it not?
Correct.
Is that, okay.
All right.
That's correct.
So all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Anyone opposed, say no. All right, so that passes. Very good, thank you very much.
Yeah, I believe
Was that?
Frank was the second.
All right, next item is the discussion authorization to contribute to Imagination Station from the general fund. So the way I understood this, because I know we talked about this at the last city council meeting, is that the previous city council had approved to give them money out of the opioid settlement, but then something happened where they did not qualify for that. Is that correct?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Does anybody, you want to, Mr. Fowle or Billy Trump, you want to talk more about this?
Well, we always double check when we're distributing funds that are earmarked for certain requirements. And I think Jessica Chandler called the State Attorney General's office and outlined what we were planning on doing with the Imagination Station money. And it was their opinion that they couldn't make the linkage between opioid prevention or treatment with the Imagination Station. So it's our recommendation that we don't use the opioid money. We're very scrupulous to make sure that any monies we have that will be audited are used appropriatate. So with that being said, the council can still donate money to this Imagination Station, which for what I understand is a worthy cause, but it'll have to come out of the general fund.
And what was the amount again?
16,000.
16,000?
Are we talking about Dolly Parton? That's Imagination Library. Imagination
Yes.
Station is a different educational program.
Yes.
Yeah.
What is it? Anyone on council have any questions?
And it's
Any comments?
It's my understanding that we have $185,000 budgeted for like random contributions like this throughout the year, correct?
Is that what the total is now remaining, Jessica? 185?
Yeah. I'll make a motion to approve 16,000.
Second.
All right, then all is in favor of contributing the money to the Imagination Library, thank you, from the general fund, say aye.
Aye.
Anyone opposed, say no. All right, very good. Motion passes. Thank you very much, council. All right, next item on the agenda is the first reading of the ordinance authorizing the property swap with the West Virginia Department of Veterans Assistance. So again, I'm going to refer this matter over to Mr. File because I know it's been discussed before in city council meetings, so.
Thank you, Mayor. Yes, it has. This ordinance, an ordinance almost exactly the same, but there are some changes, was approved by council, I believe, the first meeting of June. So it was the last council that approved it. There were a couple of issues that I realized that I think we need to change. Those issues deal with when we convey property, the city of Beckley, in this instance, should be giving what's called a special warranty of title instead of a general warranty. That's how we would word it in the deed. And at the same time, the Department of Veterans Assistance will be given the city of Beckley property with a special warranty of title. That's kind of a technical term. It deals with property law, and I feel that it's something that should be in the deed, probably should have been in initially. And also this ordinance, because now that we have the form of government we're operating under, will authorize either the mayor or the city manager or recorder treasurer to sign the documents as they are required in order to facilitate this transaction. I have worked with the counsel for the Department of Veterans Assistance, and he is in total agreement with this, and this does not slow down the process in any manner. So it would be my suggestion that once I read this by title, that first reading be approved tonight on a motion and second, and then we will have the second reading and final approval at the next meeting, which would be the 27th of August. And this ordinance is titled, Ordinance Authorizing Property Swap with West Virginia Department of Veterans Assistance. You all may recall that this deals with property that they were getting ready to build a nursing facility on property, and they realized that the property they were using was not large enough to accommodate their design. And so the city did work with them and has agreed to swap property with them, and the property that they are receiving will be large enough for them to complete the construction that they desire to do. So, Mayor, if you could advance this on first reading, please.
Does anyone on council, any council members have any questions about that, or? Nancy?
What property are we swapping this for?
It's property, do you have any?
There are two, it's two pieces of property that are adjacent in the Pinecrest Industrial Park. Part of the property that was conveyed to Pinecrest was conveyed to the city, but the other part was conveyed by the Pinecrest, by the state, to the veterans people. When they looked at it, because of the topography, they were going to be compelled to build a two-story structure. And if they were able to build a one-story structure on their campus, it would save them considerable money. So they wanted the ability to save the state and save construction costs so they can put in this 120-bed veterans facility. But the property is pretty much adjacent. It's all right out at Pinecrest.
Okay. I thought we were giving back all the property that we were given at Pinecrest back to the county.
This doesn't involve that property. Right.
Okay.
Anyone else have any questions? No? They may have a motion to vote on the approval of this property swap?
So moved.
I have a second. Okay, all in favor of authorizing the property swap with the West Virginia Department of Veterans Assistance, say aye.
Aye.
Anyone opposed, say no. Okay, so approved. Thank you very much, council. All right, next item on the agenda is the second reading of an ordinance authorizing the city of Beckley to grant a temporary construction and permanent easement through the city's Rails to Trails property around the Rural Acres Drive vicinity. And again, this was, well, Mr. Pfeiffer, if you want to talk more about that. I know we talked about this at the last city council meeting, so if you want to go ahead and elaborate on it.
Right, and you're correct, Mayor. At the last council meeting, council approved first reading of this ordinance. And tonight is second reading of the ordinance. Once I read it by title, there will be a public hearing held that any member of the public can comment about this ordinance. This is an ordinance that we were requested to adopt, which is going to permit an easement across the rails to trails out in the rural acres section. This is going to permit a piece of property out there to be developed that otherwise would not be able to be developed because it does not have access to sanitary lines or sewer lines. It's going to involve a 2-inch sewer line that's going to go through the property. The developer is going to, and it's JMD Consulting and Management LLC is who's doing this. And they are a very, I think, a very reputable LLC company in this area. And they will be responsible to repair the rails to trails so that it'll be just as it was. And they will be responsible for any damage that is done, and they will maintain this. So this is at no cost to the city,
Right.
but they had to have permission from the city to go on to the rails to trails. And as I stated, this is right in the vicinity of the Rural Acres Drive where the bridge goes across there. So I'll read this ordinance by title. It's an ordinance authorizing the city of Beckley to grant a temporary construction and permanent O&M easement through the city's rails to trails property in vicinity of Rural Acres Drive. And at this time, I'll open a public hearing and ask if anybody in the public has any comments either in favor of or in opposition to this ordinance. Apparently being none, I'll close the public hearing. Mayor, if you ask for a
Okay.
vote on second reading.
Mr. Fowler, I do have a question.
Yes, ma'am.
Yeah, sure.
And why is it that we chose JMD Consulting and Management? How were they the ones that were awarded this?
Well,
Did
they
we
are,
have to-
they are the company that came to us requesting this because they're the ones doing the developing. They're
Okay.
developing this piece of property out
Right.
in that vicinity.
So it's nothing, no monies for us?
Oh, no. No,
Okay.
Right.
no money's for us.
All
They,
right. Well,
right.
cool.
All right, very good. Any other questions from council members? Well, then I'll go ahead and ask for, may I have a motion for the easement?
I'll make a motion.
Second.
Second. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Anyone opposed say no. All right, very well. Motion is approved. We'll move on to number 7. Resolution granting city officers signature authority. Again, I will refer over to Mr. Fowle, so you have more information on this.
Thank you, Mayor. Yes. Once again, due to the change in the form of government that the city of Beckley entered into on July 1, I felt it was necessary to make sure that we have a resolution that will be kept in our minutes that will show that the mayor and the city manager and the recorder treasurer have the authority to sign documents. Right now, it is not stated for certain in our charter or in our code, and so this will set it up so in the future, either the mayor, the city manager, or the recorder treasurer, whoever is requested to sign these documents, will have the authority to do so on behalf of the city of Beckley, and that's what this is. So I will read this. It's a very short resolution, but I think it should be in the record. Whereas effective July 1, 2024, the city of Beckley transitioned from a strong mayor to a manager-mayor plan of government. And whereas Common Council of the city of Beckley desires to set forth who has signature authority for the city of Beckley, now therefore be it resolved by the Common Council of the city of Beckley as of July 1, 2024, the mayor, city manager, and recorder treasurer have authority to sign contracts, deeds, grants, and other legal documents on behalf of the city of Beckley. This resolution is presented tonight on the 13th of August, 2024. So, Mayor, if you could ask for this resolution to be adopted, please, sir.
All right, may I have a motion to approve the resolution as presented?
So moved.
Second? Second. And all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Anyone opposed say no. Very well, the motion has been approved, passed. Moving on to old business. So one thing I'd like to bring up first, if you don't mind, is the old business is that at the last city council meeting, we discussed having a workshop for the distribution of the opioid settlements and, you know, what percentage we want to use of that, you know, per year. I would like to schedule that for August 26th on a Monday, if that's okay. Can we not do it?
Yes, we can agree to that.
Does anybody else have any comments on that?
I do. Not only the topic of the Old Ford settlement, I think there's some additional topics that can be brought about in the workshop also,
Okay.
like fruits of labor for one.
Yeah, fruits of labor is another one that, you know, we've talked about for a while and haven't really moved on, so, yeah.
Is there a way we can get an update on Fruits of Labor and Pinecrest? I mean, I think everyone here is probably here for those two issues and how they've hit the headlines of the paper this last week. Can we get some updates on that and maybe even get some workshops for those next week possible?
Yes, now, I'm going to be out of town.
Okay.
I'm going to be in Alaska, so if you want to do them, you can, but I won't be able to be
Okay.
there.
Okay. Then the 26th, if we can fit it all on there, it's
Yeah.
fine with me.
That's the day I get back, but I should be back by about 5 o'clock.
So, Mr. File,
Yes.
when we are gonna have a workshop, do we have to be specific on the items that are gonna be discussed?
We should state, for instance, if it's fruits of labor lease, we should state that on the agenda that will be posted. And we'll need to
The
To
opioid
post-
settlement and fruits of labor
and
lease?
yes, in any items we're going to be discussing, actually, in any detail, we should list on the agenda. And the agenda will be posted at least 3 business days prior to the workshop.
Does it include any other leases that we may have out there that has not been acted upon?
If you would get with me later and we can see what leases you feel need to be discussed, we probably should list those on the agenda.
So should we send you an email for the topics that we request to be discussed?
That would be fine.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Any other council members have any old business?
No, I just think Ms. Jordan should be told, or we should make a deal with Ms. Jordan, whatever we're going to do. I mean, you know, with all due respect, it took Michelangelo only 2 years to carve the Pietà. I think we need to move on this.
And I'm actually going to ask at the end of our meeting tonight to go into executive session to discuss the negotiation I've had to date with her, and we are entitled to do that. I did check with the Ethics Commission. You can go into executive session, and I think
Mr. Fowle, I have a comment about that.
that's fine.
On the fourth Tuesday in June, council was asked to go into executive session to discuss the fruits of labor lease. We have had public comments in front of our constituents, and I feel like I let my constituents down. When I agreed to go into executive session, I feel that and I'm not trying to grandstand or anything, but we used city taxpayer dollars to purchase a building. I believe that we were sold a bill of goods, and we're not supposed to grandstand, and Mr. Fowle, that's not my intent here. But if we're going to discuss fruits of labor, and we purchased that building for the betterment of the city with city taxpayer dollars, I believe those discussions need to be in front of constituents. That's how I feel. I'm really not trying to get applause, but that's just, council, that's how I feel.
I totally agree.
I feel as if I had a burning in my heart that really bothered me, that we went behind closed doors when we were discussing our LGBTQ non-discrimination ordinance. We didn't go behind closed doors. We were in front of everybody, and we did that for the betterment of our city. We want to be inclusive, but we also want to do what's best. We have a taxpayer who was a wonderful citizen who had to close his doors because he didn't have, and it wasn't fair. It wasn't fair, and I believe that those conversations need to be in front of everybody.
Yes, let's have transparency.
but again, if we have the workshop set up for August 26th, the public
It's an
is
open-
open to
open.
that.
They can-
And I hate to keep putting that off. I mean, I know this has been
I'm sorry.
dragging on long before my time, so I'm with everybody else. It's like Natalie said, it's time to make a decision and move on.
Thank you, Mayor.
Anyone else have any old business?
Oh, I just would like to say, please pray for the staff and the families at the United States Penitentiary at Atwater, California. One of the staff members, he was exposed to some fentanyl, opening the inmate's mail, and he died. So you all keep the staff members there and their families in your prayers. I just brought that up because the Bureau of Prisons is my heart, so. Okay.
Thank you, Janine.
Thank you.
Okay.
Mary, you weren't here the last time. Hi, Mary West. You weren't here the last time, and Ryan and I had gone down and talked to Pam and Steve at Public Works, and they're going to try to help you get some signage on your street.
Some more signage.
Something.
Well, you know what? I put so many signs up and down that street, even some with donkeys that say slow your down, and they're not paying attention to signs.
Okay, what would you, I mean, we're trying to help your problem,
Yes.
and if you have another suggestion, we can talk.
And I'll
think-
tell you this, Mary, too. Frank had an awesome idea. I don't know if we want to talk about that tonight, but we did bring that up to them, and that is something that they're looking to. Something
think
better
we-
than signs.
I think we have a solution, but we
We
can't.
think we have a
I
solution.
can't address it right now, but.
Right, right.
Well, I would like to see something down there because I'm not gonna break another bone for these cars down there on the road.
We can just.
Falling in front of them.
Thank you.
But we are trying.
Yes.
Thank you for what you're trying.
All right.
And Miss Moorfield's not here, but I enjoyed the car show. I saw you there. That was a nice festival. She's not here, but I just wanted to give her kudos for that.
Anyone else?
I second. Oh, I'm sorry, go ahead.
I'm sorry, we have a honey festival coming up this weekend
Is that
that
something
Leslie will be having. And I've been to it the last 2 years. It's really nice.
Oh, the Honey Festival. Sounds like fun. Thank you, Nancy.
Pollination's important.
It's another story.
It's
Don't
another
even
Pollination's
ask.
important.
It's all I've talked about for 10
I'm
days.
sorry.
Anyway.
Are you going to sell pickles
Yeah.
there, Mayor? You selling pickles there?
You're a big honey
Anyway,
advocate, aren't you?
moving on. New
Mayor,
business. Let's move on to new business.
Mayor,
Does any council members have any new business?
just 1 minute. If we
Yes,
could go
sir.
back, I think somebody mentioned Pinecrest. And I did want
Oh,
to.
yeah, thanks, Mr. Fowle. Yeah.
I did want to state that the committee has met and reviewed all of the proposals that were received from the engineering firms. We received a number of proposals. They've all been ranked. We have ranked number 1, 2, and 3. Negotiations are taking place with number 1 right now to see if we can agree upon the cost of the contract. And then once that is done, we feel that we will be back before council asking for approval at the next meeting of that.
Okay.
And we've been working with the county, with county's attorney, Mr. Root, and he is in total agreement with what we're doing and the speed in which we're moving. So
Very good.
we're in good shape there.
Thank you, Mr. Fowle. All right, moving on to new business. Any council members have any new business?
Yes, I was wondering if, thank you, Mayor, if Attorney Fowle could elaborate on the hiring of the city manager, where we are in that
Thank you.
process.
Thank you. I'm glad you brought that up. The city manager committee, the ad hoc committee, met this past Thursday, and they did meet in executive session in order to discuss names and discuss and review resumes and to review the work that Baker Tilly, the firm that has been hired to assist the city with, has done. And at the conclusion of the meeting, and it was a fairly lengthy meeting, there actually was general consensus of this committee of 4 names. These 4 names need to be presented to council. It'll need to be done at a council meeting. It should be done in executive session. We want to keep the names of the applicants at this stage private so that their privacy rights are protected. We do not want to embarrass anybody that applies and does not get the job. We do not want to cause any issues with anyone who has applied for the job that does not want his or her current employer to know that that individual may be looking to go somewhere else. So this is standard practice when you seek a professional such as this. So I did want to advise, though, that the committee has agreed upon 4 names. There is a background check being done on these names, and we will be meeting with Baker Tilly. Council will be in the future, in the near future, to decide exactly what steps are going to be taken and how to handle the remainder of the search. So it is advancing. I think there were 3 members that have served on this committee from the beginning. If any of them have any comments or if they disagree with anything I've said, please feel free to share it.
I mean, I would definitely agree that the executive session, to keep the names private, like Mr. Fowles said, there's 4 names, and there's 3 of those that aren't going to get a job. So, I mean, I don't think it'd be fair to them to speak their names out, and then that just kind of is a red flag to their employer that they might be looking for a job elsewhere. So I think for the applicants' names, and then that's the best way we can do it. And then obviously council's going to take it from here and work hand in hand with Baker Tilly on the interview process. And I think we're going to end up with a great first city manager.
So when will that happen?
We don't have the specific date yet, but we'll advise council as soon as that's agreed upon to make sure it's a date that's available to everybody. We will be sending emails around to see when.
So it's about the background check, it's the only thing that y'all need now, is the background check?
That's it, and it's time for the,
Like you said, take approximately, what, 1 week, 2 weeks,
10 days.
max,
about 10 days probably.
10 days?
Yes.
That's what Ms. Lewis said. She said usually she can do the background and the reference check within 10 days.
Anyone else?
That's all.
I have one question.
Yeah, go ahead, Kid.
When we meet on August 26th, so if we have a couple other things we'd like to address, we can just email those to Mr. Fowle and Mr. Trump?
That would be fine.
That'd be fine?
Yes.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you, Kid.
Mayor, I have something. I was listening to Metro News. Hoppy Kercheval had Mayor Tom Joyce, is the mayor of Parkersburg, West Virginia. And he was discussing the initiative that they started in Parkersburg, which has been successful. And they have a transient homeless advocate that works downtown in Parkersburg and discusses and talks to people and kind of helps them navigate. Do you need a identification card? Do you have someplace to live? And they have had great successes. Mayor Tom Joyce, City of Parkersburg. First it was 1 retired Parkersburg police officer. Now it's 2 retired Parkersburg police officers. And if that initiative is helping them to navigate through some issues that Beckley's having, perhaps that's something that we could listen to Mayor Joyce. I asked if he would be willing to come either on a Zoom meeting or be able to talk about what they're doing, but perhaps that's something we can replicate in Beckley. We don't have to reinvent the wheel.
Absolutely.
And we can dust it off, make it our own, and other municipalities have done what Parkersburg's done, so.
And they
You know-
also have a pedestrian safety act that has helped curb panhandling. So,
So,
Ms.
something to
Gooch,
think about.
Ms. Gooch, you had mentioned that to me some time back, and I told you last week I'd be meeting with the Municipal Attorneys Association of West Virginia, which I did. And the 2 topics you all were discussing were the major topics that were discussed. I'm actually working on an ordinance that I was going to mention to Natalie regarding, I refer to it as panhandling, regarding on what people can and cannot do in handing money to people on the curb. So that is something that I will be producing, providing you all with an ordinance to to
And it-
review regarding that.
And it does not criminalize panhandling.
No.
We just need them not to be in the medians and on corners where it's dangerous. It does not mean, we know that panhandling is legal. We just need them not to be at the busiest intersections in town.
And another thing, I would love to re-implement our parking commission. We need to do that. When you have a vehicle on Neville Street that has an extension cord up to a window and that vehicle's there all the time, I mean, we need to do something about that. And we used to have the parking commission all the time, so if we could implement that again. How do we get that done?
I think we probably should put that back on the agenda and have council vote
Okay.
to create a parking commission, because
Yeah.
we haven't had one for some time.
So we should
Been
be able to
years.
see that the fourth Tuesday in
I would think
August?
so.
Perfect.
And it's something,
Very good.
maybe in the past, it's been, the parking commission has been council.
Yeah, it has. That's
And it actually worked very well
It
there
did.
for a number of years.
First 4 years I was on council, the
Yes.
parking commission worked well.
Yeah, I'm in total agreement, so we do it, and it used to be, what was it, 5 minutes after the meeting ended, it went
Yeah.
straight into it?
Exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, I'm definitely in agreement of bringing parking
Thank you.
commission back. There's a lot of issues with parking in downtown.
And I do have one more thing, Leslie. Could we please get a sign in the frame in front of Black Knight Municipal Park?
Awesome.
It's, okay, all right, good. On a positive note, my 64 classmates that met at Black Knight on August the 10th were from all over the United States. And it was unbelievable passing colors, so thank you. And Jeremiah and the staff. We had dinner. Yes, it was wonderful, thank you.
All right, anyone else? All right, then we'll move on to public comments. And we all know who's going to be first. Mary West, come on up. Jessica, you keeping? Okay, thank you.
Jessica.
Good evening, everyone. Good evening. I'm back once again. Different day, but the same old stuff. So the alleys still look the same over there, and I would like if someone discussed getting those alleys taken care of. And I've also asked for a prayer before we get our meeting started, because we need to put some God in here. Because we are really, I've been coming here for years, and it made me feel like I came into a penitentiary because there was no respect for Mary West. So I would like if we could do some things differently. And I thank you all for what you're trying to do for me, but I also will suggest, speed bumps would be the best thing. And Dunlap had them donated, but somebody said no. So I tell you all, if you put some speed bumps down there, I'm gonna throw the biggest party and invite everybody, and we can come down there and do the bump. So, hey, we'll be out on the street doing the bump.
That's bright.
Because the cars will slow down. Because signs, I tell you, I put so many signs up, and I've stood out there with a megaphone and a radar gun, and the cops even know I've clocked them coming through there, and turn on my siren. I don't want to have to keep doing that, because eventually somebody's going to get very upset and come back and try to do something to me for doing that. But it's dangerous. People are walking all day and all night through there. We don't want to see no dead bodies on the streets of LaRue because nobody wants to slow down. So if you all can help with that, that's going to be the most wonderfulest thing in Beverly. Yes, instead of making this a one-way, why don't y'all do it my way? Thank you all.
Thank you.
Thank you, Mary.
All right, next up, Mergie Bradley. Mergie Bradley.
Mergie, there's Mergie, there's Mergie.
Is it Mergie or Mergie? Who's right?
Mergie.
Okay.
My bad.
Okay.
Merge.
I come up here just for a few comments, and one of them I want to say, since y'all brought it up, about the parking meters. Y'all got that thing way up in the middle, and I watch people that can barely walk. You gotta go up there, put your money in, and you gotta go all the way back. If you're gonna put those little things up there, you need to put them out where the folks on this end of the parking lot can get them, and on this end of the parking lot can get them, because people struggle. And when I had my hip replacement, I struggled, okay? But what I'm coming here about really this business, CP, last summer, the housing would have, like get together for the kids at different apartment complexes, over the East Beckley, Beckley West, not Beckley West, but the different one, Beckwoods. So as we were sitting on a friend of mine's porch last year while this was going on, one of the people that was running for magistrate and another one that was running for come over and talk to us. Right. So in the process, Leslie Baker came over and talked to us. No, I thought my voice was loud enough. Leslie Baker come over and my friend Toya said, what are you gonna do about the playground? Well, we both brought it up. And she told us the playground is gonna be great. This is the one on Antonio and Barbara, okay? She said she was gonna level it out and put state-of-the-art equipment. Well, if you come over there and look at it, my niece, 7 years old, said, Auntie, that's too little for me to play with. She put something up here, I guess the kid's supposed to crawl, put it around the box, and then she went up here and put a couple little swings and something they can sit on. It would have been better if you left what was there, because you didn't do what you promised us on that day on Toya Francis Miller's porch. And you can't say you didn't say it because you did. So then I heard she say, well, we're out of money. You should have left what was there until you got money. But you told us you was going to level it out. And those guys worked on it for several months, and once it all was put up, I'm thinking, no, we could have got some Legos that did better than that. Now, I got pictures on my phone if you want to see them or whatever after the meeting, but you need to do something with the playground because it's not fair to those kids over there. And then I got word you said you was doing what you done was done.
30 seconds.
30 seconds?
No, she said it.
30 seconds.
Okay, I got 30 more seconds? Okay, if you come to Piney Oaks Elementary, the man that brought that, he slightly turned it into a junkyard. So y'all need to come over and put him in check. Because he's supposed to fix it up and do whatever, but it looks like it's like a junkyard. Thank y'all, have a blessed day.
Thank you, Margie. All right, next, Tom Mosley.
Well, great. Hello. As much as I like to run my mouth, I'm going to read a prepared statement for you tonight. I am here today to speak about the problems in the community that are in dire need of being addressed. A week ago, a speeding motorist come barreling down Hull Street, lost control of her vehicle and ran over my neighbor's driveway where his two small children usually play. She then continued through 2 yards, smacked into an embankment, and fled the scene. This just so happened to be on my street, but unfortunately speeding is out of control in all of Beckley. 2 meetings ago, I spoke about forming a safety committee. I believe it is a necessary solution to help our city going forward. This committee would consist of a team headed up by a safety commissioner. They would work with the police department, code enforcement, and the city council. They would handle not only recommendations for traffic patterns and speeding, but also the overall safety concerns of our city. They would work together to address topics such as panhandling, the drug epidemic, which is rampant in our streets, and protect citizens as they voice their rights without fear of retaliation. This committee would find solutions that not only protect the constitutional rights of these individuals for their freedom of speech, but also protect our citizens' rights to go about their daily lives and not fear for their lives or the lives of their families. Due to the issues I mentioned above, I have obtained ordinances from several other municipalities, including Parkersburg and Morgantown, that work to protect their citizens' constitutional rights and overall safety of all of their citizens. I believe we must learn from these municipalities and create similar programs and put them in place in our own communities so we can have these same types of protections for our own citizens. We need this committee to help our council and police department be informed and take decisive action so that lives are not ruined or lost because we stood by and chose to do nothing. So with that, I'm asking this council to form this committee. so we can put together solutions, put them into action, and help our citizens feel safe again and not live in fear for their children and their families. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you, Tom. And just to let everybody know, Tom, I've talked to Tom numerous times over the last 5 or 6 weeks, and he has really took the initiative to really spearhead this thing. He's been in contact with the people up in Parkersburg, up in Morgantown. I mean, we all hear the same thing. Everybody up here hears the same thing. You know, we want to get rid of the panhandling as best we can, the homelessness. I mean, it looks bad to the city. So maybe the safety commission is like one of the things, not just to help people like Mary West, you know, with roads and signs and stuff like that, but also, you know, to help clean up our city and help get rid of the panhandling problem. Tom, I appreciate it very much. Moving on, Dillard Lawson. Well, we'll come back to him then. Rose Hicks. There she is.
I want to reiterate about the safety committee from Mr. Mosley. It's a great idea.
Yeah.
And Mary West, the prayer would be great. And also she had mentioned before about taking out the parking meters would be great. But I need to amend my comment from the last meeting. I didn't know the names of the streets out there, but 3rd Avenue, I was told, and Second Street, I was told, goes off of 3rd Avenue. That doesn't have a speed limit down through there, down to 5 Corners. I would assume it's like 25 because it's Beckley, but that's the one I meant to say that I go like 25 down because there's no speed limit to say so, but I'd say it's 25, but there's no speed limit. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. Dillard Lawson.
I just want to thank the board for getting us trash cans up in the Shoemaker Square, because that has helped us tremendously, and there's a lot of people who are helping pick up besides my staff at Carpenter's Corner.
Thank you, Dillard.
Thank you.
That ought to come out of beautification.
Yeah. V. Webb.
Vicky Webb.
She just put
I don't know what she said, V. Vicky Webb.
Hello, I'm just come to give a good report about the Beckley Welcome Center. I'm the visionary and the volunteer director for the Welcome Center. I do have a degree in recreation from Marshall University, and I also work for the Bureau of Prisons as a supervisor of recreation. We started this project, I think, in 2018. The building was used to store bikes and helmets for the recreation and events department. And then the idea came up that I presented to the mayor about the having a welcome center and a bike share and things like that. I think that community partnerships work because I am a volunteer, and to see this project through, I appreciate the city working with me and doing everything we can to make that corner look beautiful. We have, when we had our meeting, nobody said that the building was in the wrong location. And that is true. We were promoting McManus Trail. Throughout the years, we've only bought 13 bikes, and we only spent $2,500 in 4 years, and that's because of Gary helping us with the bikes, and I want to publicly give him a thanks for all his hard work.
Gary. Go, Gary.
Thank you, Gary.
So we recently bought 10 bikes because the other ones couldn't be fixed, and there's too much time working on them, so we went on and got some more bikes for that. Also, the Nath family worked very hard with us buying bikes, and they bought 2 rickshaw bikes to carry Mother Ruth down the trail. And so they have been awesome. Our staff is David Harbison. He's a retiree from United Bank. Audra Brandon is a retired recreation therapist and activity director for the VA hospital over here. And she is just awesome with stats and data. Wendy Pennell, she's a teacher, and also Javon Jones, which is a coach at Beckley Stratton. We have an awesome staff. And in all these years, we've never had an accident. We never had anybody hurt. Everybody made it back, even if they had to push the bike back sometimes. They made it back. We do have a testimony. A couple came in from Florida. They are in Gent for 30 days. They Googled us up and said, "You all have a 5-star rating," and that's why we came, and they drove all the way to Gent to come to the Welcome Center. And so I just want to thank that. We have had acknowledgements from Senator Manchin, Senator Capito. And at this point, I would love to stay as the volunteer director for the end of this season and next year. I think that we can keep this going, make it a
30
tourist
seconds.
destination for the city of Beckley. And she's a beautiful building, by the way. Y'all have a good day.
Thank you, Vicki. All right, next up, George Barbera.
Thank you, Mary. My name is George Barbera. I'm the head cross-country coach at Woodrow Wilson High School, and I came here today to announce some details about our upcoming cross-country race, to also extend an invitation to the mayor and council to attend, and also express our appreciation for having access to the property where we host our meet. On Saturday, August 24th, we host the 13th annual Chick-fil-A Beckley Invitational. The venue headquarters is at Beckley Stratton Middle School, and the cross-country course is located on the Pinecrest Industrial Park property adjacent to the school. The gates open at 7 a.m. at the school for parking at the school, and the competition begins at 9 a.m., starting with the high school girls race, following with the high school boys race. At 11 a.m., we have the middle school girls race, followed by the boys race. This is actually the first weekend for competition in our sport statewide, and it is one of only 4 events held in the state on that weekend. The proceeds from this event, from this one event that we host, fund our entire season. A little history of our sport and our meet. Back in 2012, Coach Trent and I started a cross-country program at Park Middle, and she revived the Beckley Invitational, hosting it at New River Park. That year we had 7 schools and about 80 runners. To date, we have hosted 17 events at that location since 2013, including the first middle school county championship and 4 Region 3 AAA championships. When I did the math recently on Run WV, we've had nearly 500 athletes cross the finish line on that course. In 2024, our race had grown to 50 schools, including 25 middle, 25 high schools, and 515 athletes competed. We expect this year to be nearly as big as last year. We already have over 30 registered. I do want to express our appreciation to those who have extended us the opportunity to use this land for as long as we have. Many of our accomplishments over the last 11 years probably would not have been possible had we not been able to host these meets. You know, it's provided a lot of funding for our
30
programs.
seconds.
The course has provided our program with a safe training ground and one of the most spectator-friendly courses in the state, and you could watch the race from nearly one vantage point. Cross-country continues to thrive in our area. All of our middle school and high school teams have a program, and you know, we feel that this venue has played a supportive role in its growth as well as our own program success. So thank you very much.
Thank you, Coach.
Thank you, Coach.
Mayor, can I have a comment? I wanted to ask you a question. You said you wanted the mayor and council to attend. You didn't tell us that we could be a part of the cross country.
You don't have to race, but if someone of you would like to start the race by shooting the gun.
Oh, I'll do that. I'm in, man. You got it.
First race starts at 9 a.m. We'll put you next to Scott Cantley, and you could.
What was the date again?
It's next Saturday, August 24th. I do want to mention Mayor Rappold started the race, I think, either the year he was elected or the year before he was elected. We're glad to have him.
I'll get with you.
Ryan, I have a comment.
Thank you.
Yes.
Coach Barbera, you know what happened 20 years ago. 20 years ago,
Yes.
Georgie Barbera knocked on my door at 9 o'clock on a cold Saturday morning. And he said, Sherry, Woodrow Wilson needs a rubber track. I said, okay, all right. So Racine Thompson, all of the wonderful people, Connie Taylor, we formed the Friends of Beckley Track.
Friends of Woodrow Wilson Track and Field, yes.
Yes. I will say in the summer of 2005, Woodrow Wilson had its first rubber track. That started by Mr. Barbier, who wasn't even a coach. His little boys were little, and trees had to be cut down and all kinds of stuff. And shortly thereafter, all the other schools got a rubber track.
Yeah, thanks to Charlotte Hutchinson, Racine Thompson, and everybody else that
Dr. Charlotte
contributed.
Hutchins? Yes,
We received a $20,000 check on this floor right here from Bob Kiss.
you did. Yes.
Somebody was listening.
Yes. Thank you, Coach. Thank you so much.
All right, next up, Aaron Bandon. Audra.
He wants to get your reading glasses on.
It ain't my, it's a writing, it ain't my reading.
Okay, I'm kind of dovetailing behind Vicki. I'm one that works there at the Beckley Welcome Center, and I'm going to give you like a mid-season report. We're there, just in case you didn't know, we're there. We open up in May or June, and we go all the way to October. And the success of the building is because of Vicki, and it's through her guidance, her eye for detail, and that she makes us keep it clean, neat, and orderly. I just want you to know that we have travelers from all over the world that come there. This season already, we've had 2 people from Nebraska and Maryland, and 2 countries, Australia and Canada. Out of that, we have a total of, over the last 4 years, 31 of 50 states that have come through, and 8 countries. The one from Australia, it was a mother and son, and the son got a scholarship to play at West Virginia Tech. From the one that came from Canada, we had 2 from Ontario, Canada, and they had come through the states. So just letting you know, they're coming from all over the world. Another thing that I want to tell you, that we did have a big day. This year we had the Salvation Army, their Boy and Girl Club. They brought 27 youth to come to ride, cleared out our garage of our bikes. They came on the 15th of July, and then on the 25th, we had 14 to come. So we're getting these riders to come in from everywhere. Also want you to know that we started giving out water and coffee and just sitting out, and they come in, you know, they see us, and they feel like they've just arrived, you know, somewhere some place that's going to help them. When you pass by there, you can't help but to see, when you sit at the light, you'll look over and you see the beautiful flowers and everything. And I just want you to know that the bikes are free of charge. I'm going to say that again, free of charge. If you went in the big cities, you would pay $3 to $8 an hour to ride. It's free, but you do have to have an adult to check it out. We're really promoting a family-oriented business because we want the families to come out, the moms, the dads, the kids to come out and ride the bikes. I can say that since I've been there, when we first started, we just kind of focused on getting the bikes out and we wanted people to ride. But now people are coming in, they're asking for where's a good place to go camping, where's a good place to go fishing, where's a good place to eat. We're giving out
30
pamphlets,
seconds.
brochures, and now they're starting to relocate here. And so they want to know, who are your realtors? So I'm giving out realtor card and realtor information. So I'm just letting you know a lot of business takes place there, and I just thank you for your support. Sorry for being so nervous.
Thank you. Next up, Christy Dumas.
It's Dr. Christy Dumas.
I didn't write that. I got it. Save you some steps on this one. Injustice anywhere is a threat to justice everywhere. We are caught in an inescapable network of mutuality, tied in a single garment of destiny. Whatever affects one directly affects all indirectly. Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. Tonight, I stand before you as a Human Rights Commissioner for the city of Beckley. Did y'all know that was a thing?
Yes.
I know you knew, Frank, because you served on the commission. The Human Rights Commission has a huge purpose. We promote and protect human rights. The commission develops city norms, studies human rights issues, and monitors the observance of human rights around the city. We resolve complaints. We provide a neutral forum for resolving complaints of discrimination and help people file complaints about their rights under the state law. We enforce anti-discrimination laws that prohibit discrimination based on race, color, religion, national origin, ancestry, sex, ability, age, and familial status. We advocate for justice and equal opportunity by providing guidance and leadership in the area of civil and human rights. We develop ordinances that protect human rights and see them to enactment, like the Non-Discrimination Ordinance and the Crown Act that ended hair discrimination. As a commission, we agree that the situations like Hargrove Apartments fall squarely in our purview. And the fact that individuals didn't realize that there were several means of resource that could have been taken, including a complaint to the HRC, lets us know that the commission must elevate its visibility and accessibility through education in the community. To this end, a tenants workshop called Know Your Rights will be conducted in collaboration with the Human Rights Commission, Legal Aid of West Virginia, and the Raleigh County Family Support Center on August 26th. Flyers are on this head table. An ordinance is being written by the Human Rights Commission to present to council,
30 seconds.
giving each tenant both a copy of their rights and lease mandatory by landlords in city limits. And a representative of the Human Rights Commission will attend council meetings and be represented at this department head table to increase accessibility and visibility. Allow me in my 30 seconds to introduce to this august body the current members of the commission.
Tom.
Danielle Stewart. She is our current chairperson. Attorney Marie Bechtel. Donna Ellison. Clarina, I think I saw Clarina Bullock. Shane Pierce, he is our secretary. Sheila Hamlet, Tina Pinnell, and myself, Dr. Christy Williams-Dumas.
Thank you. Thank you, Christy.
Can I answer any questions from council about the Human Rights Commission?
I think y'all doing an outstanding job. You know, being past chairperson of it, just keep up the good work.
Thank you. We are trying. And as we talked about in our last Human Rights Commission, it's imperative for us to be here and have some visibility so that people know that there is a recourse here. Hargrove Apartments should have never gotten to that point, but if people don't know what their rights are or ways to take action to get help, then we are failing them all the way around, and that needs to change.
Okay, thank you, Chris. Thank you.
Thank you, Dr. Dumas.
Christina Basine. Christina.
I'll adjust it too. You probably done lost 10 pounds this one meeting. So I'm Christina Basden, as all of you probably know. I'm going to start this off with a quote. You should not honor men more than truth. And that is Plato. September 1st, 2021, or thereabouts, was the closing date of the city of Beckley's purchase of the fruits of labor, the Zenz building. July 28th, 2021 was when the previous council voted to purchase that property. We are coming up on 3 years waiting for this fruits of labor lease. We've had excuse after excuse. We've had workshops, this, that, the other. It all boils down to, why are we negotiating a lease? Why do we continue to wait? What is the end game here? The end game should have already happened. Why is it taking so long? Next, proper meeting procedures are not being followed. There is no reason why our city council member representatives should have been barred from the city manager recruitment committee meeting. Because when you have a quorum, which we had 5 in the previous administration, that makes it a city council meeting. Those city council members were illegally barred. June 25th, the city agenda for our city council meeting was changed 3 times within a 24-hour period. That is just one example. The next example is what Josephine Moore from the Register Herald reported on literally hours ago, saying that the West Virginia Ethics Committee says that if you go into executive committee meeting, you should have that posted on your agenda. The item has to be on the agenda.
30 seconds.
What does this all boil down to? Is liability for the city. You all are going to be sued if these things continue. This is against the West Virginia Ethics Commission, and although they do not hold people accountable, we can as citizens in circuit court. Thank you.
Danielle Stewart.
An amazing coincidence. You and I must be on the same sheet of music about the opioid settlement fund committee. Wow. So we actually didn't plan this or discuss it. It happened. So a couple of things. This is a follow-up on previous documents that I've provided you all, a little bit more detail on the how I think that the opioid settlement fund should be allocated, strategic planning. A couple of things, recommendations, and I will go over it with everybody since we're here. Allocating no more than $500,000 per year so that it lasts us for a long term. Creating an office of substance use policy with a director and assistant to actually develop the strategy and monitor the spending to make sure it's meeting the goals. You should consider using existing Beckley-based organizations for these efforts. You have FMRS, who would be a great partner for intervention and recovery because they're already doing it. You have the Raleigh County Prevention Coalition doing prevention. They're already doing it. Just a little support would help. Big one, city funds must be used on city residents. Too many times we are being asked to fund initiatives that help the county, 50-50 with the county, we're 24%. We need to fund for Beckley, and that should be the number one question asked is how does this help the residents of Beckley? Big picture strategy, you can see here my personal recommendation breaking down the funds on a 60-25-15 plan. 60% for prevention, 25% for intervention, and 15% for recovery. Reason for that, no money for treatment because treatment's funded through Medicaid. Little money for recovery activities because, again, that's funded by a whole lot of other state agencies. But almost nobody funds substance use policy or prevention activities and intervention activities. It's happening, it's just been underfunded and under-resourced for so long. Lastly, we can't let these funds become the candy jar for pet projects with short-term impacts. Let's develop a strategy and let's spend it in accordance with strategy. Next thing I have, Sherry, great idea from the Parkersburg. I brought it to Billy Trump and Mayor Rappold about 1.5 years ago. The same thing with an agreement to cost share with RCCAA for that position. It died. So I hope you have much better luck on it than I did. Thank you.
Thank you, Danielle. All right, next up, Candy Cozart.
Kind of changed where I was going to start. Mary, I hate to tell you this, but speed bumps and signs don't have. I live on Westwood Drive. We have 3 speed bumps. All kinds of signs said 15 miles an hour and everything like that. About a week ago, I live on the dead end side and I was going past Old Mill. That must be one hell of a hill because somebody went right through the stop sign and almost hit me. I swerved over. But I
I let him know that it was 15 miles an hour, because I went 15 passing, and he was behind me then. So, I mean, the sides above, but what will help is if a police officer was kind of like standing around or doing something in the car. I let them years ago when my son was little. I live on the dead end side. I let the police car sit back down my driveway from the dead end sign to the end of the road. They caught, that year they caught like 5 kids speeding, and it's a dead end. But that was the thing about the police. A presence would be really nice. The city trail is behind my office, and I have seen the street cleaner behind my office. You could eat off the trail behind my office, but to find a policeman, you'd have to dial 911 to sit there and wait, because they're not there. I was told that they're supposed to come down a certain amount of time. They don't. But so the other thing I wanted to talk about was the pagoda looks real nice where it's gone. Well, guess where all those homeless people are? They're behind over the hill. On my way up to the meeting, my sister and I, we stopped, and the people that live on the road behind the pagoda, they've run them off all the time. There's the 2 drug houses right there. They go there. They're camping on the hillside and down below. That needs to be patrolled. If you have a police officer shining a light up there, that'll scare the bejeebies out of them. They'll leave. But that's the thing. And then we've got the city that they put up all these nice curb sidewalks to get on. Funny part about it is you got this nice handicap parking to get onto the next side of the road. But the problem is, from where you get on there to the next one, you'll kill yourself, on the sidewalks. I don't know if we can use money for that or what. I realize it is a state road, but you know what? I live on Westwood Drive. When you come up, and I think it's the people that own J&Care own and it's like the pieces of it's. You couldn't be watching what you were doing and not break your neck. We need to clean up our streets, period. And the fruits of labor, that's just like a joke. This morning,
30 seconds.
The parking where the guy parks his thing, and I took a picture and sent it to everybody. Well, this morning I drove through town, and the parking attendant, the guy that writes tickets, I asked him. I said, "Why don't you do something about that?" And he said, "Well, I wrote a ticket, and they made me throw it up. Somebody else was doing it." But he said, "But the guy that owns the international store, he has 3 paid parkings over in the Fruits of Labor's parking lot. He pays them for 3 parking spaces." And he, just a second, and he told me that he can't, when I said, "Excuse me, you've got that guy parked there, and it says 15-minute parking strictly enforced." Now, it must be the longest damn 15 minutes I ever saw.
All right, Candy, thank you, though. Thank you.
Thank you, Kenny.
Next up, Colleen Finch. It's a tag team party.
Tag in, you're in.
Coming in.
I'm Colleen Finch. I'm a resident of the city of Beckley, but I live outside the city limits. My husband and I pay wads of taxes to the city and don't get to vote for you guys, but I've got something to say. I've been an educator in this county for 51 years, 41 as a teacher and 10 as a sub. And I've taught math to elementary students. And before you make a decision about the fruits of labor, I want to tell you something. According to my calculations, if you give them that $200,000 of opioid money, it's going to take 67 months for them to pay it back at $3,000 a month, or 5.5 years, with absolutely no interest. And that doesn't even account for the 3 years they've already been there, and the utilities that they've gotten for free, and everything else. Quite honestly, I'm thinking about a career change. I think I'm going to go back and go to law school. Hopefully, I'll be able to help our city to make a fair contract with the fruits of labor if they cannot do so before I graduate. Now, that's probably going to take about 4 years. I'm sure maybe you can do something about it by then. This might not be a problem, as it's already taken the city years to negotiate a fair contract. Let's get this job done. I would like to know Ms. Jordan's success rate of her culinary students upon graduation and finding permanent full-time employment. As a longtime supporter of Brian's Safe House in Beckley, which is a drug rehab center, Mr. Bresch can give you statistics of his graduates, including the number that are continuing to be drug-free, as well as how they have gone from being consumers on society to how they are now producers. Many of us here would like to see the opioid money spent in a more beneficial manner to prevent the use of drugs, not to throw thousands on a very small number of individuals. And somebody was talking about having these festivals uptown. I was with a car group, and we were uptown, and the cigarette butts on the curb at that park were this far out from the curb and about that thick. It's very embarrassing. Our city is filthy. Please make sure the area is presentable before these events, as well as all of downtown Beckley. Is panhandling taxable? I mean, everybody else gets taxed, why don't they?
30 seconds.
Another issue is the Carpenter's Corner and the trash that's deposited on Prince Street as well as in the alleyways, of which my husband owns property there, and they go in and get in the dumpster, and there are those white containers all up and down there, and then we get calls that, you know, the alleyway's a mess and they want us to come and clean it up. Not happening. It's a complete lack of trash cans on Prince Street and in that area. And you're putting them up on the park up there, but you can't put them on Prince Street where they're eating and tearing it up.
Time.
Okay,
Let's make
thank
Beckley
you.
beautiful, guys. Clean this place up.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
All right, last, Leisha Woodson.
Woodson.
Good evening. My issue here this evening is about the abandoned buildings. I reside on Grant Street, right off of Beaver. There is a burnt-out residence, red house. I invite you all to go down Beaver Avenue as you leave and look at this red house on the corner of Grant. Imagine all of the rats. This is at 100 Grant Street. I reside at 104. 102 is an overgrown lot. I don't know who it's owned by, but the trees on that property are threatening my home. Like I said, I don't know who to contact to have this, problem taken care of as far as that lot. But this house, I was informed that it may be on the building for demolishing. But the rat population that has flooded Grant Street and Thomas Street, I tried to get other residents. I'm basically tired of buying Tomcat. This house burned down about 1.5 years ago, but in March of 2004, there was a little greenhouse right across from Act Auto that the city tore down, and all of the rats were looking for a home then. So I've been buying a constant supply of Tomcat since 2020 for the past 4 years, because these rats need someplace to go and they're trying to invade the rest of the residents. So can we get some type of solution? Y'all throw some rat poison over in there, do something. It looks atrocious. And I'm thankful that the drug community has shifted, because I've been waking up with gunshots at 3 o'clock in the morning at what's going on at that drug house. I'm glad it's gone. They made it out alive. No one died, but they're out of my neighborhood, but all of their debris is left. So if I could please get some type of assistance on that, that would be wonderful.
Do you know where that stands, Captain Morgan? Like on the demolition, by chance?
Yeah, the contractor, that was in the first bundle that we did for the grant money, and they're in the process of doing asbestos abatement on all those houses right now, so it should be fairly soon. And we also have another one on Grant Street that's gonna be in the second group that we're doing.
Can we clean up the outside? That would help.
Yeah, the owner.
The trash is unbelievable, I see it every day.
Sometimes I hate to go home just because I'm passing it, but it's home. Y'all have a blessed day.
Thank you very much.
you. Mayor, can I ask Public Works, do you all have any type of something that you could put down for rodents? Sanitation, sanitary? Okay, sanitary board, okay.
Are
Not
we
sure.
allowed to have a litter sweep on that property if it's are we allowed to have a litter sweep, Raleigh County Make It Shine? Could we do that, or do we have to get permission to gain access to the property?
That would be Mr. Fowle question.
Mr. Fowle?
We do have an agreement with the owner for the demolition of the property, right to enter for that. Anything that, you know, has to do with demolition.
So it's just all, well, we'll go by and look at it and assess it from there. I do have one more comment to make. You know, the the Paris Olympics just ended, and, you know, the United States had 40 gold medals, and one was those were at the 4x100 for the Noah Lyles and his 3 teammates, and we don't know that, but some year we might have a guy or a girl like Sha'Carri Richardson that's running in the Olympics, and they ran for either Woodrow, Shady, Independence, or Liberty. So thank you, coaches, what you're doing. And I want to thank everybody. We've been civil with each other. You've got better things to do in Beckley, but everybody that comes to sign up to talk, thank you. We all are here because we want what's best for our city. We really do. So I just wanted to end on a positive note. Thank you,
Sherry.
everybody.
Thank you, Sherry. All right, with that, I'll ask for a motion to dismiss.
So moved.
Second.
Boom. You did good.